Do we
And
want to
we're
show
live.
the audience our candles?
Oh, yes, we will show the audience our candles, the most important thing. Maura and I just lighted our candles in unison. Ch-
Cheers.
And cheers. And to mark our first episode of Live in the Lounge, which is really
Woo!
exciting. Woo, woo, woo. Um, and I know, Maura, you're interviewing me tonight, but I do want to ask you, like, what is Live in the Lounge to you? Like, what comes up for you when you hear that?
When I hear Live in the Lounge, well, first I think we have to talk about Lava Lamp Lounge to even describe what Live in the Lounge is. But Live in the Lounge to me is like a segment that is a part of this community that you, Morgan, have built for us. And it's a creative space for creatives to get together and talk about their creative process, talk about life as it relates to creativity, and also to give audience members, if they do ever want to come onto the podcast, to ask people questions, kind of like an artist talk. Is there anything you want
Yeah.
to add on to that?
Well, I love the way that you framed it of like, okay, this thing is a part of this. So yeah, no, but it's also it's a space to have conversations with creatives, with people, with humans about what fuels them, what they're interested in talking about. I loved that idea of kind of bringing people on and asking them, what do you want to talk about in this? Because I've been on podcasts before and it's definitely been like just an interview, like, who are you? What do you do? And it's which is cool in its own right, but I think it's an interesting thing to ask creatives, to ask people to come on and ask them, like, what do you want to spend this time talking about? Like, what ignites your fire? What do you want to spend time chatting about? Like, is it your freelance work? Is it like, is it about your studio practice? Is it about a book? Is it about yoga? Like, what is it kind of a thing? Because I think there's so many different aspects of creative living and a creative life. Um, from making art to noticing things to travel to mindfulness. Like there's so many different parts to it. So that's what I got excited about when thinking about starting Live in the Lounge is just like one, conversations, because you and I both, we love chatting and having conversations. And I know for me, like being a podcast listener and hearing others talk about creativity, creative living, like any conversations, I feel like I always take away something from that. So I'm excited to start this. I know that we're getting into this pretty raw. Like we don't have a theme song. We don't have an intro. It's on Zoom. Who knows if it will stay on Zoom, but
We're really improving this.
it's straight up improv. So welcome. Whether you're listening to this live, which right now it's just you and I, but or if it's, later in Spotify, we welcome you into this space. Light up a
Yeah,
candle. Yeah,
welcome.
welcome.
Come light a candle with us if you do decide to join on Zoom. I would love that.
That would be great. I would like that too. Light up something respectfully and non-harmfully. I don't know.
And don't, go through 4 matches like I did tonight, lighting my candle.
I went through two. So, yeah.
There you go.
Yes, live in the
So,
lounge. I'm glad we're doing this.
me too. I'm glad we're actually making space in our schedules for this now. This is exciting.
I know. And right now it's gonna be a thing that happens monthly. So this month is conversation focused on Lava Lamp Lounge and the story behind that. And then next month, we're gonna kind of turn tables here and talk to Maura about some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into things, do we want to talk to people about how you and I know each other?
Yeah, let's do it. What's our story, Maura?
I think the first time I ever met you was in, I want to say either Roger Crumb or Judith's class. There was some sort of room in the art history room where you were like sitting behind me.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like we definitely had, I remember that, like in close proximity. One of my favorite memories of Maura And it was like when we weren't, we didn't become pals yet, but and I've shared this with you, but like Maura in art school, I don't know if it was the first week. It was just so ingrained in my brain, but it was the suitcase. Maura had a more you lugged around a suitcase of like your art stuff or supplies. I just remember you having a luggage or a suit. Why am I saying suitcase? A luggage, right?
Did
Suitcase.
I in school do that too? Like in college? I thought
Yeah,
I
you
only
had
did that in high
like a
school.
travel luggage, a full-size travel luggage. And that's my memory of you is because I remember it like it fell or you were looking for something in it. So I remember seeing you on the street, like opening up this luggage and it was just like filled with all this stuff and I was just like, who's this person?
That
Um,
sounds about right. I had a coworker tell me the other day that, I'm not a small purse girl. And at first I was offended. And then I was like, that's just like true. Like, I do bring everything with me everywhere all of the time.
You
So,
never know when you're going to need it. I
no,
carry around with me 3 to 4 bags, like not small bags, like full bags, like of just food, books, art supplies, sketchbooks. And a lot of times I'm just carrying it around. And do I go into them and use all the things? Sometimes, but it's a lot of weight. But you never know.
you know what? This is like a great first question to ask you, which is like, what's in your bag before you go to work every day?
Which one?
Which one? Okay, how
I
many do
can
you take with
describe
you?
all of the items. No,
Like
so
your must-have.
I work double shifts. So one bag is just dedicated to food and snacks. So lots of Tupperware, like glass heavy Tupperware, different seltzer waters or tea, like just one bag is full food. Another bag, well, maybe a couple bags. There's definitely 2 to 3 bags that are books. Like just a book that I think I'm gonna read. A lot of times it's like The Artist's Way or a creative book I'm reading. And I've been recently trying to bring around art supplies more. So actually, instead of a bag, I have a big storage bin that I'm now carrying around with me. And it's just in my van. And then when I want to use it, I like bring it out. And that's filled with sketchbooks, collage materials, art stuff. So that's a bin, but kind of a bag. I don't know. It's a bin. And then another bag is my backpack filled with like computer, iPad, chargers. Yeah, I've got a lot of bags and a lot of stuff. Water
You know,
bottles, you know.
I think you should adopt the suitcase. Like what I'm hearing from this is that like you need a suitcase.
You're like the moral of the thing is that you just need luggage. You just need travel luggage. Honestly, yeah, because my scoliosis, my back problems, yeah, I think I'm gonna just get some travel luggage. You're right. Thank you for that. I needed that.
Um, yeah, I would just like to go back to how we met real fast.
Yes, please.
And my first like real memory of spending a lot of time with you is we were both in teacher ed. I didn't complete my degree in that. I got a degree in from University of Dayton in photography. But for a minute I was in teacher ed and you and I did this like collaborative project with a group of second graders. And we had them make little monsters. And then I think we had them make fish too, and we ended up like creating a show on Front Street with all the student work, and we had
Yes,
them like
I
come in and see it.
I totally remember that. Oh, that was such a good memory. Because, yeah, the younger grades, we had them do like the fish and the experimentations with, I believe, like watercolor and crayon. And then it was the watercolor and crayon too with the monsters. But that was so fun to be in that space and have that art exhibition for the students that came. And yeah, that was like right when I started art school and probably the first
Mhm.
like project we had and was paired up together.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just remember your energy. Like you were one of the most positive, energetic people I had ever met, and
Oh
you
my
were
God.
taking like 1,000 studios at once, and I was
Oh.
like so impressed. I was like, "You go, Morgan."
Well, and a little tidbit about me, for those of you who don't know, is I went to school to college, University of Dayton, just like Maura said, but at first to get my early education degree. And I was thinking I'd work in hospitals and I would always find myself wandering the art department and gawking over like, oh my gosh, people get to do this. They get to paint, they get to draw, and all of these things and feeling really jealous of it, right? And then I would go back into my dorm room and I would doodle and draw and work, do my own little creative pursuits, even during class and stuff like that. And I just had this moment of, well, I walked into Darden's office one day and learned about art education, but it was very late in my college degree years that I was like, I'm going to switch my major. Like, I'm not passionate about this. And I remember my dad saying, like, how about you just switch to marketing? Like, just go into the business world. I remember I was like in a bathroom stall and I was like, Dad, I need to do what I'm passionate about. And I was like, almost like, tears coming down my face, but also like, I need to do this. I need to make this jump. And the moment I did, as a junior in classes with all freshmen, taking tons of studios, because I was trying to catch up in the
Mhm.
program, but I full on knew I was meant to be there. And that feeling in itself, and I've talked about this before, but like it really paved my way of my time in college because it was like trying to make the most out of every opportunity that I had. And I think that's really impacted a lot of who I am today and myself as an artist and a creative. And in this art community, Lava Lamp Lounge is, how can I make an impact with the time that I have is something that I think about, um, and try to just focus on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that that's like hearing that story, just again, it made me reflect on like how far you've come even since then and how intentional you've been about building these spaces for creativity like ever since that point. You really have never abandoned it. And I'm like in awe at just how persistent and dedicated you are to this.
Thanks. It's definitely taken, like I would say there were definitely years and times of challenge and struggle and a year where I did not make any art. And I know you and I have mentioned that before of like it's like even recognizing those seasons of not making in especially in times of transition, right? And just being like, that's okay. Like giving yourself that cushion of like, yeah, that's okay. But like in those times of the not doing and the not showing up and not having a community and actually feeling really alone as a creative is what ultimately led to me like trying to nurture my own creative self, like with the artist way, that being a tool that has helped. And then like starting Lava Lamp Lounge was really rooted in feeling alone and not feeling that sense of community and just knowing that I've created it before and I could do it again. So in the height of COVID and when all that was happening, I was at the time hosting workshops with the museum that I was working at. And so it just became really familiar with that process of Zoom, of logging on and just being like, if you just tell people what you're doing, spread the word, like they looking for something to do, people to connect with and community creativity. And so that's when I started my first slow making sessions. And so many people were attending. Like I at one point had 30 people coming to these free slow making sessions that were all over the world. And it blew my mind, but it also was not shocking. It's like people are looking for ways to connect and be together and create. And all it is opening up a Zoom room and clicking on music and, sometimes spending time chatting in that space. But, fast forward to now when I started Lava Lamp Lounge a year or so ago, it was like, oh, slow making session. Yeah, like let's start that back up again because that was really cool.
Tell me about all of the different aspects of Lava Lamp Lounge and also like t take me back to the moment when you realized that you wanted to create this community and maybe how you came up with the name too.
Yeah, great questions. I would say that it was over a year ago. It was last July, but even before then, I that art education part of myself that has so many and just like artist, creative person, I feel as though I was always like a collector of resources. Like like books that have helped me, listening to certain podcasts, and like really taking time myself to nurture my creativity and think of ways of exploring, get out of creative blocks. There were just so many like little books that I loved and I wanted to share them and talk about them. So it really started as a way for me to think of like, okay, I don't want that to be like on my like just I want this to be a separate thing. And then it was the question of, what is the name? What does that look like? And I really spent time thinking about it and like trying to figure out what it would be. And also just like really allowing the name to just come to me. Like I was like, it's out there. It's got to be like perfect and interconnected. And it was actually just moving to Columbus, Ohio. Something that I moved with was my lava lamp that I've had since I was in fifth grade, like or fourth grade. Very long time. This lava lamp is like the colors of it have is faded and ancient, and I love it. But it was plugging that lava lamp in and stare at like I would, as it was flowing and going, it was an amazing place to just like slow down and tune in and watch my lava lamp flow. And then it was whether it was in a dream or like on a walk or just even in the shower, like I just remembered like the name hitting me and just being like, Lava Lamp Lounge. I was like, it's perfect. And I was just like, okay, what does this mean? Thinking about intention, meaning. And so lava lamp is like, okay, yes, like we turn on the lava lamp that's warming up our creative light. Like, so just becoming intentional about like turning that on, spending that time, and then it flowing and moving and it being like a place of slowing down and being with the flow, right? A lot of times we hear that like living with the flow of things, which is has a really beautiful metaphor and meaning. And then so like the symbol of the lava lamp and, where it is in the home, it being a comforting item, even for me, so nostalgic. And then the idea of like a lounge just immediately felt like a place to relax. Like to lounge means to relax. So thinking about that and how important that felt in with this community is I think a lot about like hustle and grind and like this pressure that we put on ourselves. And so lounge feels like resistance of that, really allowing yourself to relax, to slow down, to resist that hustle culture and grind that we so typically live in. So it like the moment that I had the name and I made the Instagram handle and it was like accepted. No one had ever used Lava Lamp Lounge before, which is such a good feeling. Um, I was like, yeah, this is it. And I actually brought in a little like visual journaling thing that I made a year ago about this. And it like little things around it just says a place, a group, a network to sit back and relax and enjoy maybe visual journaling sessions, nostalgic, slow moving, playful, free flow, connected, warmth, creative. And so I was just kind of putting little words around this. So that's like the, I'd say long story long, but that's where the name was founded and the meanings behind it. And it stemmed from me not wanting to feel alone. And so creating sessions where people can get together to create, to work on what they need to do, that space is for them started. And you were actually a big part of that artist. Now it's an artist support group, but in the beginning, it was the Artist Way support group, really focused on this book. And that was where you really came in to inspire that, which has evolved into something so beautiful, a weekly check-in session for all creatives and all artists or all people to just get together and check in on their creative selves. So right now, Lava Lamp Lounge offers free Monday night sessions on Zoom. So the first is a slow making session, which I just said it's just a space for you to come and use that time for yourself. So some people have used it as a co-working session, as a place that they could even like get things done on their computer, but a lot of people have used it to read, to write, to journal, to work on a project. Even someone last week said they've never attended a slow making session. It was their first session and they said like at the very end, they're like, I've never been to one of these, but I just completed a project that I've been trying to finish for 4 years. And just using this amount of time, I finished it. And I can't thank you enough. Like, thank you so much. Like, I can't believe I'm done with it. And we're all like, yeah, there's so much like good energy in that space. But that's what I love about it is some people have told me that they've started writing poems, and it was kind of like maybe at the end of the session they started really getting into poetry, and then the session ended and then messaged me that they spent the next 2 hours writing poetry. And so I think that it's cool that it could be that Kickstarter of getting yourself into your creative whatever that is for you. Or a lot of times for me it's been dusting off my art materials. Like I have so many paints, I have so many drawing, like just using the thing and playing. So it's been a space for that. And for so many other things, a lot of times I just clean my art desk, but that's like what my creative self needs is just to clear out my space, light a candle, and spend some time creating. So that's the slow making session. It's at 7 p.m. on Mondays, Eastern Standard Time. And then right after is the artist support group.
Yeah, I was gonna say the times that I've attended the slow making sessions, I usually either doodle or more likely than not, I'm like clearing the laundry out of this closet so that it can be a studio once again. And it's like a nice little time to reset. So,
Yes, I love that. And in the beginning of it, I kind of tell people like you can do this with me or you don't need to, but it was really important too when I started those slow making sessions during the height of COVID was like actually slowing down, like taking a moment to whether that's closing your eyes, whether that's like standing up and taking some big stretches, like taking a moment to just find some grounding and find like 2 seconds of peace, 2 seconds of just slowness. And I personally like in my mind and my body, I need that time. So I always love like starting off the session with some relaxing music and doing that. And then yeah, spending the time in whichever way it goes. So it's been a really cool space. Yeah. I'm excited to continue doing it. I keep telling people now, Maura, and these I'm like, y'all, I'm gonna be doing this when I'm 98 years old. Think about that. You guys are in the beginning of this, and I'm gonna be this old, frail woman, and I'm just gonna be like still hosting these Zoom sessions, and it's gonna be great. So,
gonna be on something like VR eventually, you know? Like we're
oh
actually gonna enter your house, you know?
God. Yeah, we'll see. Oh.
Yeah, I want to actually say something about the way that you open these workshops, these sessions, because it really stuck out to me. Especially like the beginning of the Artist's Way when you started playing the music at the beginning and just like having everyone reflect, having everyone do some breathing exercises and ground themselves. And I just want to say how much of a difference it makes from people going from their everyday life to then being able to relax. It's like an actual cue that I think that all of us constantly need a reminder of.
Yeah.
And there was such a difference in the way that the conversations would go, like it
Mhm.
before that was happening and
Yeah.
then after.
And I think I love how you can really tell the tale of time because you were in the first artist way, like support group, where at first I was just clicking on and being like, "Hey everyone, what are we do like? How's everyone doing?" And then it was, and I think that that comes with doing a thing, just like we're doing this, and just learning as you go, because it was truly a moment where I needed the time and space to just like chill and to slow down, and it evolved into something like really beautiful in that way, where there was a nice cushion, and still to this day with this creative support group, artist support group, whether you're doing the artist way or you're not. The first like 10 minutes of that session, like it's actually a bigger chunk and the people that are regulars that just know what's up, I'm just putting on music and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop on some lo-fi music, some chill, relaxing instrumentals, like just move and breathe in whatever way you need. Get yourself some tea, walk around, and then when you're ready, come to your page and start to check in with yourself. And then we have this just really nice buffer time. And sometimes we even go a little bit farther because I can just see that people are like getting into it. And then, yeah, after that is really just like how we do it. It's a little bit of a check-in with some structure. I pop in some structure if people need it because I know I need it. But it's also a free flow of just a nice check-in, which has been really cool.
Totally. And are there things that you took from like other practices in your life, like yoga, sound baths? I know that you're into those two things
Yeah.
specifically that you try and integrate sort of into your workshops.
Yeah, I would say that definitely getting more into mindfulness and meditation, yoga, like in my own practice, like just trying to get more into my body. Um, it just makes sense to then incorporate that into workshops. So even with artist talks, the last couple artist talks I've done this year, I've started it out by doing the same thing where I take a moment to like slow down and like ease into it and just like be able to like get into your body a little bit. Yeah, so it's definitely informed the way that I go about this community space. And just like you said, like people are looking for that time to just reset a bit. And I would love to ask you, like, um, from going to those sessions, like what was something that you enjoyed or like maybe looked forward to or took away, like that came up for you?
Um, I think that being a creative takes a certain amount of encouragement, right? And like when you're on your own, you can do affirmations, you can have like a certain dedicated schedule, but I think that there's something more charged about having like a collective group of people's energies to sort of feed off of.
Hmm.
And during the Artist Way, which I think I completed that back, was it like a year ago almost?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
around March-ish. I don't think I would have been able to get through that book, that curriculum, like without people in the group
Hmm.
saying things like, me too, or yeah, I had a tough week, but then I got back on it. It's just, I really think it helps. I just think it helps to
Yeah.
connect with other creatives and see that, like, oh, you're not alone in like some shame that you have about like having a bad week or not being as in tune with your art as you want to be. Um,
100%.
and I feel like that space was just like so positive and people were just so encouraging.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly like even vulnerable people get. And I love that. Like the fact that they feel comfortable enough to just be sharing their hearts. It's like it's all like, oh my God, thank you. Like it cracks open a space for then other people to like get to that space and to share. And I love those virtual spaces in that way. And some people that do have attended and do attend those artist check-ins or support group, um it's like similar stuff where it's like they're lacking a community. They're lacking just like talking about this stuff more. So yeah, same. And even like the whole like someone to just say like me too. Like I also feel that way. That validation is so important as creatives for sure.
Well, I think people feed on each other's light,
Mhm.
and you created this space for a lot of people's light to shine. And I think that you can feel it, like when you're in the group, when you're in the workshops, when you're in the
Yeah.
rooms. And I would always come into those workshops feeling so like bleh from my day, just like like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm dragging myself here. And then you leave feeling so good and
Oh my
recharged.
gosh. Yeah, and it's funny, like being the host of this, I literally have, I tell myself sometimes like you have no choice other than to show up. And most days it's like it's actually like very easy, right? But there are some days that it's like, oh, like I just want to watch TV, even for myself. And it's like, no, like you got a responsibility here. And that's been cool too, like to be in that role. So being able myself to even open up that Zoom room and get it, like maybe feel whether it was a crummy day or whatever it is, and then leaving it. And I literally am like, what? Something just happened. Like it was like whether me making something that just felt good or leaving the support group and like with a tear in my eye, just feel like, oh, I feel held, like I feel supported. And now I can just like have a nice restful night after this. This is so cool. So yeah, I'm really grateful for this space. It's definitely not, it's never been about just me, even though it started as like, I feel alone. Does anyone else? But it's just transformed into a really beautiful space of connection. And I'm excited to just continue to like tread the path of consistency because I'm really seeing the big payoffs with that. So, yeah.
Would you share like a favorite memory that you have from, I don't know, any of the past year doing Lava Lamp Lounge? Like if you have a specific memory in
Yes.
mind?
Yes. It really, okay, so it changed the game for me, Maura, when I started realizing that some people in the group were from my own city. And so I was just kind of like, do you guys want to meet up? You know? And that really changed the game for me. So, like, a big memory is hosting just in-person workshops and stuff. So it's been free to attend. I've been doing it. It used to be twice a month, and now it's typically once a month. This week we're going to go into a ceramic studio that I work on and just like play with clay together. Last week I like collaborated with one of the loungers in the group, Zoe, and we did this like DIY like clothing alteration workshop. But yeah, like that, the memory I've had of that was like my very first one. I met just the coolest people. And as someone who it's difficult, man, to like meet people that are aligned with like my interests and like just that like easy connection, just friends, you know? So like meeting people in person and just immediately being like, I think I just made like five new friends. This is cool. And I drove away buzzing with energy and just like a full feeling of alignment of this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I've never felt that, like you mentioned, that like energetic charge. Like I've never felt so alive in my body and my skin and like truly like buzzing with a feeling. And I really think it's just love, but buzzing with that. And I even opened up my phone voice memos and I just had to talk about it. And I have it somewhere. I haven't like listened back to it. You know, I think I will one day, but just that has was a huge memory for me is like doing the first meetup and driving away from that and just like feeling that full force of alignment in like such an interconnected way that was just a reminder like, yes, this is exactly what you're here for. Like just keep doing stuff like this. Um yeah, and I have a lot of, you know, ideas of where this can go, even thinking about creative retreats or mentorship or coaching and stuff like that. And I think like that stuff will come in time for sure. So right now I'm just kind of focusing on more community building, especially in our time, in our world right now. Like I really think that being in community with each other, creating third spaces, creating spaces like this online in person is exactly what we need. For people to fuel that love with each other, really connect and yeah, build community is just right. It's so important.
Totally, like accessible, loving spaces. I think those are
Yeah.
two really important qualities that I think that Lava Lamp Lounge definitely has. I was wondering if you could tell me where the first place was that you met up and if it was like awkward to meet people that you knew over Zoom, like in real life, where you're like, oh, people are taller
Oh
than
my
I thought
gosh,
they were.
no. Oh, for sure. It was I have the great pleasure of hosting these in-person sessions at the place that I work at, which is a coffee shop. But yeah, they were definitely like Danielle, my friend Danielle was one of them where I like had seen Danielle so many times in virtual sessions, but then like seeing Danielle in person, I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Like just being able to be like, you are a human being, you know, like because you even Kara, who has been coming to Lava Lamp Lounge for a long time. I met Kara the first time this summer at a Cleveland event flea market that I was hosting, and she was a vendor there. And Kara and I have been like in these Zoom sessions for a year. And we're just like, whoa, Kara, like just being able to give each other a big hug and be like, oh my gosh, I like know you. This is so cool. So that definitely has been really rewarding is seeing people in person and yeah, connecting over that and stuff. It's been cool. The virtual world is funny like that, you know? But
It's
yeah.
super funny like that because like you feel like you know people so intimately, and then like it is a different energy exchange like when you meet in person in a good way usually, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's been good. I'm looking forward to just continuing to do things like this and even with like virtual workshops and I'm even grateful to have found Substack and have gotten on that platform and I've tried like Patreon and other things before, but I I think it's been a really cool platform to be using for this. And anyone could subscribe for free. And all it is just dropping your email and then getting the Zoom link that is sent to you to join those Monday night groups. And then every week I just feel so inspired by those sessions. So I've been writing out a creative newsletter that's just three takeaways that you can kind of bring into your week or just think about. There's a little um, like one takeaway, like whether it's be like let go or play, and then a little reflection that I'll write that's usually like two sentences and then an action alongside it. So doing those, and then in that too, I do little shout outs. I'm like, I don't know if people read these, but
I
I
do
feel
read.
like you do read them. What do you like about the newsletter? I know you've told me before, but tell me what.
Well, what I appreciate about the newsletter is you go to these sessions, whether it's the slow making session, the artist support group, or one of your workshops that you do like once a month or so, and you leave feeling good, but sometimes you forget something really powerful that someone said. And like you will quote these powerful things that
Yeah.
people say. And it's kind of like when I open my mail the next day and I'm reading the newsletter, it's like some of that wisdom gets to sink in a little deeper. So that's what I
Yes.
appreciate about the newsletter.
I love that quote section too. Because you're right. Like people will just drop truth bombs that you needed to hear. And then you're right. Like the session ends and it just is over. So from the beginning, I would just, even for my own sake, like type out some things that people are saying. And because it's incredible. Like, and I love how there's like a thread of wisdom that follows this. It's like documentation of these sessions and stuff. So that's super cool. I love hearing that. Yeah, that's sweet.
Well, and I think of like comment sections on social media and just social media in general, and how like it's almost like you're being reinforced with like negative information
Mhm.
sometimes, depending
Yeah.
on the place that you're on. Like it's like you don't really have a barrier. And what's so cool about places like Substacks and like, you know what I'm saying, like you sending these newsletters
Hmm.
is it's like a way for people to cultivate sort of their own stream of information that's
Yeah.
like very positive, a little bit more curated, and I just think it's overall healthier.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend having an email full of artists and people on Substack who you love and you feel like they have lots of seeds of wisdom. And it's just like a very positive inbox to open up and read little
Yeah,
tidbits.
I remember you saying that you've created a separate email to like subscribe to certain Substacks or certain newsletters that are like creative, positive, like things. So when you go into that inbox, it's really an enjoyable experience to click open. And that's what I definitely would love. Like I love how that little pop a newsletter with my little emojis and it's a really short read. It's like 2 minutes long, but I love how that is just a little like pop of joy. And it reminds me of what we hadn't talked about yet too, which I was like, oh, I kind of forgot. But Art Pals, I started this Art Pal mail chain and I have all these little ones to send out this week. There's this many people. Like there are
So fun.
30 plus people on this Art Pal mail chain. So when you just, subscribe for free, you can have access to that Excel sheet, which is just people's mailing addresses. And we send like little pieces of art or collage materials or just little things. And then I got really excited about this. So I got these little pop-ups of messages. So this one says live with intention, and you like literally pop open, kind of like a fortune and it gives you a little message. And I am going to be sending those out this week along with like little watercolor pieces of paper. And that's just been so cool that like to just be like, let's send each other joy in the mail. And because, right, like a little colorful envelope with your name on it with a little message in it, it's just so sweet. This
Like
little pop.
let's play and connect, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that we're coming up on some time, so I'd love to take a moment too, a little bit to talk about the paid subscription option of Lava Lamp Lounge. That's cool.
It's
Sweet.
very cost effective, everyone.
It's very cost effective. Blech. It's very cost effective, but I yeah, I decided to create like a paid subscription option. So if you were someone that wanted to support this community, of course, like attend the sessions for free, get the free stuff. And if you're in a spot where that is all you're able to do, awesome, cool. Like there's no other feeling other than like come be a part of this in any way that you're able to. But I do have the option of if you'd like to support the growth, the future, but also just like be like, yes, I believe in this free and accessible space. I believe in what you're doing and being a part of these sessions. And if I'm a paid subscriber, also getting a cool perk is getting access to a monthly ticketed workshop. Like this month's is visual journaling to process emotions. So it's a full hour workshop that is guided by me where you have art prompts and different things. The last couple of months we were going into contemporary artists and looking at their work and doing visual journaling, and so it's going to like ebb and flow and change depending on also like what you people want, what kind of workshops that they would like to be in. And a lot of people are saying like visual journaling right now, which I love. And so yeah, it's $2.50 a week, which comes out to $10 a month. And so if you are, loving this space and you want to boost your subscription or you're interested in that option with the cool perks, I'm trying now to think about other ways that paid subscribers can even either have like another weekly session of co-working, of kind of a co-working space similar to the slow making session where you can hop on, but that just being an additional day and time, if you can't make that Monday night, or if it's something else like a Q&A session or talking about certain topics together. So that is always available. That is on Substack, and you can kind of check out those options. And yeah, I'm really grateful. I've got 10 subscribers right now, so it feels just like yeah, it feels like a whole crew. I'm like, y'all support this. Thank you. So it's also like just forever gratefulness of those people because honest to God, Maura, like I'm as much as I'd like to make coffee my whole life and serve food and beverages, I really want to make Lava Lamp Lounge like the thing that I'm doing for the rest of my life, and also being an artist and doing that stuff, but being having this community in this virtual space, and even one day making it a physical space where people can come and retreat or do residencies or um yeah, just like lounge with lava lamps and other creative things. I would love for it to evolve into a physical space one day, and I know it will. But so just happy to be doing this, and I appreciate you talking with me about this today. It's been good.
Was there anything I didn't ask you that you want to share about Lava Lamp
Oh
Lounge
my
before?
gosh. Share it with a friend. I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't know. Just spread the word. If come the sessions are always there for you. So it's like a join anytime, come and go as you please. And yeah, I would say nothing else. I'm just excited to talk about it and to share about it. And I love how our first episode is just like celebrating this thing because it's been a really special the I've talked about this before, but it's been the best thing that I've created so far. And I'm really excited to just continue on with it. So yeah, I appreciate you, and I'm excited to do live in the lounge with you and talk to you next month about a certain thing. I'm holding Mara's tarot deck cards right now that she made. That's so cool. Oh, I'm gonna
Fun.
gush over it. Fun.
Should we invite people to also pitch themselves to you, to be
Yes.
on this? I think that we should open it up and see who wants to be interviewed, who has something they want to promote or want to talk about or share.
I love that idea. And I just made an Instagram account at Live in the Lounge. And so I'd say that's a great place to slide into the DMs. Right now, I'm trying to think of like a little questionnaire that people can fill out if they want to um, talk about something. But yes, if you want to come on here and one, just talk about anything, whether it be like how you fuel creativity, how you get past your inner critic or blocks, like any different topics, there's a whole wide range, right? But if you want to come on here and talk about something, this is what this space is for. And Maura and I would love to talk to you about it. And then if we have a live audience, then it will be like part question and answer too, if people want to come on and engage in those conversations, which I think it's a cool thing that being live, this is no editing, people. So yeah, pitch us if you want to come on here, and then it'll be a cool way for you to promote even yourself if you're someone. I know that there are so many loungers, so many people out there, part of this community, not that run small businesses that have made really cool things. And that's what I love about this space. It's like, let's follow each other, let's support each other, let's actually support each other's work and buy each other's art and uplift each other. And that's what's an amazing part of this space as well, is not only creating spaces to come together, but to support each other. To like, I'm right now thinking of how can I buy like for my holiday season of gift giving, like how can I support my loungers? Like who am I buying for? Like I want to support small businesses and creatives and stuff. So I think that that's a cool thing too, is to come on here and talk about what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, great place
it's
for
all
it.
about, creatives living a integrated creative life. So any aspect to that, you could even come on here and talk about, I'm trying to think of one, maybe like how cooking has inspired you. It could be something even that out there.
Right. Even like I've been going on these meditation walks, like a walk and then trying to notice things, like the act of notice. Yeah. So whether it's a book, a podcast that has inspired you, or if you just want to come on and like you enjoy discussing this stuff, I know more and I, whenever we have a little meeting, we're like, we should be recording this. Like this is just gold. Like we're just talking about things that inspire us, that fuel us, that light us up. And that's why I love this live in the lounge, is that cozy space with your candle, with your lights to just make you feel that warmth. And just like you said, what was that quote you said something about the light, like a light radiating? I think that's a beautiful
I
description.
said that you've created spaces where you let a lot of people's light shine and you can feel that energy, is what I was
Mhm.
trying to say earlier. But
Yeah.
before we close out, my last thing that I want to ask you, is there one piece of art or creativity that has inspired you this week specifically that you want to share with the audience?
This this week, as in today, Monday, already,
No, like the
or
past.
within the week.
Yeah. Not just today.
Um, Something that I have been thinking about is this quote by Rick Rubin that talks about art as an act of noticing and being an artist and being in that place of noticing things. And something that inspires me is just thinking about slowing down more and noticing things and being more mindful. So as I watch these seasons change and just watching, nature shifting around me, and I mean the world shifting, right? Like just taking time to notice and to just get more into my own body, like taking time to just breathe and be, has definitely been something that I've been, one, just thinking about lately, and two, just inspired by. Um, I just finished a book today called Slow Productivity by Cal Newport, which I listen to the podcast Creative Pep Talk often, and he was on as a guest. And that book was really cool because it was just about doing less, like just doing less things. And I think about that a lot, even with Lava Lamp Lounge. Like there's this idea of like this hustle, this hustle. I'm like, no, I need to actually practice a lot what I preach of like that slowing down too. So yeah, that's been something that's
For sure.
great question. Is there something this past week, just to, I know you're like, let's end it on this, but I want to hear yours. Is there something like yeah, within this week that you've digested or have been thinking about that has impacted something with
Yeah,
creativity or yeah.
I have been reading Mary Oliver's devotions book for the last 2 weeks. And Mary Oliver is a poet for people who don't know. Um, to be honest, this is my first real uh, exposure to her work, even though she's like very widely known. If you're looking for some light, some warmth, just to feel better about our place in the universe and our alignment with nature, read her poetry. It feels really good to read,
Mm,
especially at night, especially in the morning. Doesn't take a lot of time. If you're someone like me looking to replace some time scrolling, highly
mm,
recommend poetry because it's short and easy to digest when you're like feeling really burnt out and tired. So,
yeah. Gosh, yes, that thank you for that. Mary Oliver has been popping up lately a lot for me. So I think checking to see if my library has that book um is something I'm going to do this week for sure. And I've been thinking a lot about as, the state of our world and just doom scrolling. I've been doing so much doom, doom, doom. And
yeah.
last week, actually, I posted online. I'm like, y'all, I'm like, I have collage materials, I have art materials. Like, come to this coffee shop if you need some community. And new friend Zoe showed up and she was just like, I've been also doom scrolling. And we spent an hour or more just collaging and creating. And it was like just another affirmation of like, yup, making, like using my hands, whether it's crocheting, collage, like just doing something with my hands is actually healing me. Like it's making me just feel more connected here and can allow me to like step out of that space. Um, but thank you for that. I love that suggestion.
And thank you for sharing with me and the audience all of the
Yeah.
stuff that has been inspiring you this week. You are like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these things. Like,
Thank you,
I
Maura.
heard about creative pep talk from you a while ago, and then I kind of forgot about it and I just wrote it back down again because, yeah, that's a fun thing to listen to right now.
Yes, he's been doing Andy J. Pizza, who runs that podcast, has been doing a series right now called Journey to the True Fans. So it's been really cool. He's had some really amazing interviews too. But yeah, if you're ever looking for a little pep or some inspiration or just something to listen to, Creative Pep Talk is a great thing to check out. And then also, if you're looking for, we'll end it on like if you're looking for some co-working community, like a space to create or to clean or to be, like check out Lava Lamp Lounge. We also have that artist creative support group where we just check in with each other. So that space is always there for you every single Monday night. And Maura, thank you for sharing this space with me. And I'm glad that everyone can listen to episode 1 of Live in the Lounge. I'm excited to do this.
Me too. I'm proud of us for doing it.
Me too.
Just
We just
living,
do the
living,
thing, right? Just
improvising.
start the thing.
Yeah,
Well, we'll should we blow out our candles
we
together
should.
as we
Great way
close
to
out?
end.
All right,
Okay.
everyone. See you next time. One, two,
Yeah.
two. Beautiful. All right. Bye, Maura. Love you guys. See ya.